Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day and that you're out exploring or doing something that you love. I wanted to take a quick second and say thank you guys for all the support. Just noticed the subscribers are up to like 1,700 and something, and I've been trying to go through and get back to everybody's comments, and they just keep piling up. I think I answered 100 something comments this morning. So thank you guys. I really appreciate all the support, and I appreciate you guys being a part of this channel and making suggestions. If you have any suggestions of future videos or anything that you want to see in my collection, just let me know and I'll try and do that. And that's how I want to work with today's episode of The Daily. So for today's episode, I'm taking a suggestion from one of my viewers, Rock Hunter 62. Thank you for your suggestion. And we're going to talk about Civil War bullets. Now, I have thousands and thousands of Civil War bullets. I can't go through them all, but I am going to go through a small selection of some of my favorite bullets today. But before I did, I wanted to talk a little bit about bullets themselves. Now, there was over 500 different types of bullets used during the Civil War, and that's why I think Civil War collectors like myself and relic hunters can still find so much enjoyment out of finding a single Civil War bullet, even though it's one of the most common finds for a Civil War relic hunter. Now, for my reference, I use this book right here, is the Civil War Projectiles 2, Small Arms and Field Artillery with Supplement by McKee and Mason. There's two guys who worked on this, and a lot of relic hunters call this book the M&M book, or MM book. And you'll hear things like MM97, MM86, and that's the numbers of the bullets as they are cataloged in this reference book. So if you get a chance to get this book, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of other bullet books. This is the one I use. And if you're wanting to start collecting Civil War things, bullets are a good place to start, because if you're buying things as a collector, the price range goes from like $1 for a 3-ring Minie Ball to several $100s for some of the more rare bullets. But even at the high end of the price scale, it's still relatively doable in a collectibles world. So, alright, with that said, let's head into the relic room. We'll have a look at some of my favorite Civil War bullets. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you guys a little bit of variety from my bullets. There's no way I could show you all of my bullets, because as you can see, there's bins and totes of bullets. They're all over the house, and they're separated by sight, and I couldn't pull them all out and show you. It would just take forever. So I'm going to move through some of my favorites I picked out last night to show you guys, and we'll just have a look at some of the sampling of bullets that could be found from Civil War relic hunting. So we'll start right here. This is possibly the most common bullet in the Civil War, and it is definitely the one that most people think of right off when they think Civil War. It is a 3-ring Minie Ball, and again, these were very, very common and possibly the most common bullet in the Civil War. So moving down the line here, we have a 71 caliber Prussian bullet, and it's been fired. You can see it hit something there. It has 2 rings on it and kind of a conical base. And I love this bullet. It's the only one I've ever found of these Prussians. Really love that. And just the size of those bullets is impressive to me. Next we have a 69 caliber French, and it has the triangle base in there and 1 ring. And this one is really special to me as well, not only because of where I found it, but because I was with my father when I found it, and just a really neat bullet. I love those. Alright, moving down the line here, we have a 44, or this is a 45, Caliber Bullet, or Caliber Bullet. My dad found this, and these are really rare. Beautiful little bullet. I love these small caliber bullets as well as the large caliber bullets. They're just really neat. And next we have a Bartholomew. This is a 44 caliber bullet. It has this little tiny pinhole kind of thing in the bottom going on. I believe that's a Bartholomew. I love that bullet. As we move down a little further, we have what I believe is a Ballard. And I like this because it reminds me of an archer shell from the Civil War, just the shape of it. Really neat bullet. Here we have some more small caliber bullets. These two here are both foreign mold bullets. This first one is a foreign mold Teardrop bullet. It's a 38 caliber, and that's listed as MM number 497. And next to it we have a 36 caliber foreign mold bullet, which is listed as MM number 97. Now I found a lot of these here. I found about 50 or so of these, and evidently they're really rare. Love that bullet. I love to take bullets like this to people when I go and visit them. Take them something from where I'm from. So here we have a 71 caliber Austrian bullet, and I love this bullet. Not only the size of this bullet, but just the shape of it. It's a really distinctive kind of bullet. And next we have a 72 caliber Musketoon. It looks just like a 3-ringer. If you look at them side by side though, you'll notice a significant difference there in size. Love the size of that. It has a very deep cavity, deep plug cavity. And here's a fired 72 caliber Musketoon. I really like that. Just in relation to that, you can see just how big it was and just how much damage it could have done. I could practically throw this bullet at you and send you to the hospital. Pretty neat bullet. Moving on down the line, we have a couple Gardners. Now there were tons of variations of these Gardners, and you'll see a lot of different mold patterns, but they all had this insert in the bottom, although I think there was one without an insert, but most of them had that little ring around the bottom there, the insert. Here we have a Sharps. This is kind of an interesting Sharps. I believe this is a 52 caliber Sharps variant. Really like that bullet. It's got kind of the raised rings on it. And here we have a couple different variations of infield bullets. And you know, just like the Gardners, there was a lot of different sizes and shapes and mold patterns for these infields, and you'll find all different kinds of them as you explore the battlefields and campsites. I like this tall, narrow one. Really like that. Moving on back in the back row here, we got a couple neat ones. I think that this bullet is a Macon Arsenal, possibly a Selma. I'll have to check. I'll put the caption on the screen, but I believe that's a Macon Arsenal. It's got the 2 rings, pretty neat. And here we have a ringtail Sharps. It's been fired or stepped on. I think it's both maybe, but I really love that. That's the only ringtail Sharps I've ever found. And it also has those raised rings around the outside there. And then we have a full Spencer case and cartridge. The whole bullet's here. Really love that bullet, and I found that in Bulls Gap, Tennessee. It's really neat, and that's an example of how there was a transition from the paper cartridges to the brass cartridges over time, and these brass cartridges enabled a much higher rate of fire, which was a severe advantage on the battlefield. So those are kind of neat. And moving back here in the back, we've got a Colton Ii Smith. I love this bullet. It's a 1-ring bullet, and I believe these are about 52 caliber as well. And here we have a couple of interesting bullets. Here's a Williams Cleaner, and this had a little zinc ring around the bottom that, as it was fired, this ring around the bottom would expand and it would clean out the bore of the rifle as it was going, was the theory behind it. Here's a Colt revolving rifle bullet, like my great-great-great-grandfather's unit carried. And a couple common bullets here, these Gallagher Bullets. They kind of look like a 3-ringer, but they have a kind of shallow base and this rounded nose. And they're made out of some kind of cheap metal, as you can see with this one. It's sort of disintegrating and falling apart. And a couple other things. Here's their standard round ball. And this is what they'd have in the paper cartridge, and they'd tear the top off with their mouth and cram it down with the ramrod. So that's a pretty common find. And some neat little eccentric type bullets that I love these kind of things. Here's a blow-through Gardner Bullet. Now it's just like these Gardner Bullets we looked at a second ago, except there was a casting flaw and the nose of the bullet blew out entirely. And those are pretty neat bullets. I also have several of these bullets back here that are high impact bullets, they call them, where they've hit something very hard and spread out. Love those kind of bullets. This one looks like a little sombrero or a hat. Love that one. And here's a bullet. You've heard about biting the bullet, and we find a lot of chewed up looking bullets like this one, which maybe a hog or something might have gotten a hold of and chewed up. But this bullet was undoubtedly done by a human. If you look at the nose of the bullet here, you can see where someone bit very clearly a couple times right around the tip. I don't know if they were bored or if they were trying to split the tip of the bullet, but that's pretty neat. And the last thing I want to show you is something that is more of a question than anything. I found these two bullets, they were within about 6 inches of each other. And I've always thought maybe they hit each other in midair. Now, I'm not sure, and I'm no bullet expert or anything else, but the way that these bullets line up, it just to me looks like they may have hit each other. I don't know. What do you guys think about those two bullets? You think they hit each other in midair? You know, holding these Civil War bullets in your hand is a humbling reminder of all the hardships these soldiers went through. Not only were these bullets hard to load, the weapons were dangerous, but also you had an enemy who was throwing huge hunks of lead like this across the battlefield trying to take your life. When you find these bullets, and you find fired bullets, it's just an amazing and humbling reminder of what these boys went through. And that's why I think collectors still love, and relic hunters still love, to dig up a Minie Ball, because it's such a tangible piece of American history. I hope you enjoyed today's little glimpse into some of my favorite bullets. If you did, please share and subscribe. And if you didn't, I'll be back tomorrow and try again. See you then.